I started working on this about a year ago, so a little more than a year. Last summer we had a meeting to discuss what could be done as a dedication to the legacy of the Pine Street Woods and what it means to the community, or what it will mean. I call it the Legacy Bell, referring to the ongoing legacy of the Pine Street Woods. And then all of the work that's been done on the bell is referencing the flora and fauna of the area and things that might be seen or experienced in the woods around here, plus a little bit of Native American mythology. The structure underneath this clay surface is a construction, what they call a sonotube, and on top of that is a styrofoam cut in at a very shallow angle and glued around, all the way around in pieces, all the way around to give it the taper that it has. It's not a huge taper, but you can see it. And then around that is wrapping to kind of hold all that together, and then on top of that is the clay. I started working on this a year ago and developed the ideas. I didn't know what it was, how I was going to go about it, what it was going to include. Just as various things hit me and inspired me, I added them into the project. How I was going to do that in this bas relief, which this is a bas relief or a low relief, I had to figure out. I didn't know exactly what was going to happen, and went from there. Filled it all up, and now I think it's ready to go to the foundry.
We're a art foundry, and we're just a service for artists to take their original sculptures and create them in bronze and convert them in that process.
Bronze casting is as old as time. It's been done for thousands of years, and it hasn't changed a whole lot. The technology has changed, but the process, the actual process of making a clay into bronze hasn't. They put a rubber mold compound over the whole piece, and it gets every single detail of the surface. And then over that rubber mold, they put a hard shell mold, and that's called the mother mold. It holds the rubber mold in the proper shape.
Like the bell, it was divided, I think, into maybe 6 or 8 different castings. We cast sizes usually 24 inches by 24 inches at the largest. And so if you have a sculpture that's larger than that, it has to be divided into those castable sections, and then later on through the process will be assembled in parts in our metal shop. Once you have a rubber negative copy, the next process is to make a wax positive copy.
They take these sections of wax that are the bell, and they dip them in a slurry which is called ceramic shell. It's a ceramic slurry, and they build up layers of this. They dip it, it dries, they dip it, they build up layers.
You take that shell, and we have an oven, we heat it up to 1500 degrees Fahrenheit. So you have that wax inside of that ceramic shell, and it'll melt out of there, and then you end up with a ceramic shell that now is a negative, and there's a void in there. And so that will end up being the shell that you pour your bronze material into.
While this burnout was happening, they were melting the bronze over here in the furnace.
It's all operated by manpower. We don't have any hoists or anything for this, and so the actual metal pouring is just done with 2 guys on either end, and one of them controls the crucible, and they tip it and pour it Kind of, I guess, if you were just pouring milk into a glass, but it's 2,000 degree metal.
They break off the ceramic shell, and then they start to clean up, you know, bubbles and flashing, you know, off of the metal, and then they start to assemble the pieces.
Once that's done, you have your bronze sculpture ready for outside installation or inside, whichever.
Just like Christmas, huh? This was the first thing I started to do. You know, you have to start somewhere to get going. Is my huckleberry patch. This is supposed to be representative of huckleberries, a band of huckleberries. And then one of my fun things that I've done a couple of sculptures about is a fox and a wren. Now I put that in there because according to local indigenous people's mythology, the fox and wren have a very special relationship. I won't try to explain it, but it's a fun relationship, and I wanted to put that there because it's the local indigenous people, the local indigenous tribes share that mythology. And then this I thought was I'm pretty excited about this up here because this makes it for the Pine Street Woods only, because up here in large letters I have Pine Street Woods.